Tulip takes a bus ride. Cassidy tries to warn the Children of Blood about Icarius, and Jesse comes up with an imaginative solution to avert the apocalypse. The AllFather's ass is grass. On this week's Preacher, Season 3, Episode 9, Schwanzkopf. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Preacher. So yes, of course, spoilers, yada yada yada. Alright, so, getting close to the end here. Really, this is a lot of setup going on. Really, we're getting ready for our end game, our final episode next week. So yeah, it's a lot of pieces being put in their right place this episode. And in fact, let's start things off with one of those pieces, of course, with Tulip going to get the case of souls and not entirely working out for her. I mean, Tulip is a badass, right? I mean, every episode, every time we see her, she is being a badass. She doesn't back down from anyone. And again, here, digging into the Angel of Death, just talking shit, really kind of throughout the episode. But even that opening bit when she's going to get the case, it was just, that's all attitude. And it works. I mean, that's it. She is so committed to it. Azrael may not like her too much, but I guess willing to give up the case. The deal with the Grail, she's apparently a Grail agent. And of course, Featherstone can't say anything because she's getting the thing wrapped around her neck, which was just awesome. But now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily part of the O'Hare curse or anything that we've been hitting on this week, but in this it's actually kind of funny because she gets away with it all. She gets the case, she's heading back to Jody, she's getting ready to do the job, but compassion kind of sneaks in there. She can't let Featherstone get dragged to hell. As much as the two of them fight, as much as the two of them sort of butt heads, she just can't. I mean, and this really, I think, sets Tulip far and above Featherstone. Because, effectively, Tulip switches places with her. I mean, not intentionally. Eugene, I was wondering about running into Eugene here at the bus stop and how that was going to play and what the interaction was going to be. But they were already on the bus, so I was like, oh, I guess this isn't going to happen. But no, Eugene's sticking up, Tulip! Tulip O'Hare! Oh, it's so good to see you! Which really sort of just takes out the whole charade right there, and she's captured and thrown up on the bus. So, again, the compassion kind of getting her. What was interesting, of course, there is Featherstone, on the other hand, not really caring at all. Who did care just a little bit, and I found kind of surprising, Jody. Now, I'm not sure if he actually cares about Tulip or anything like that, but really kind of just pointing out to Featherstone, man, she just saved your butt. Featherstone's like, I should be going to hell sooner or later. So Jody definitely not liking Featherstone. And he called her a bitch, something like that. So yeah, I found it kind of an interesting bit, and in fact, a little bit of compassion towards Tulip really continues throughout this episode. I mean, Jody was a surprise right there. It wasn't that much, it was a little bit. But it was just interesting how he even seemed to care an iota about what happened. But for Tulip jumping on the bus right there, another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus, and another comes on, and another comes on. Another one rides the bus. Hey, go sit by you. Another one rides the bus. Weird Al Yankovic, sorry, one of the earliest songs I've heard, that I heard. I think one of his first songs. In fact, Weird Al's getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame coming up, so get on you, Al. Anyway, that kind of repeated through my head while we were doing the entire bus ride, so I wanted to share that with you. But the bus ride itself, some interesting points right there. One, we get Eugene Tulip getting back together. That was kind of fun. Hitler being a pain in the ass, as always. Loved Tulip's escape stories. Totally clean. It's got the change of the first one in the back little section there and what's going to go on, and that of course completely fails. But I love the whole description and the little artistic drawings that are going on the screen above them. That was really cool. Second time when they get the crack in the window and he's going over with Eugene, talking about you go out feet first, don't land on your hands, you got to hit, you got to roll. I mean, all of that stuff. I loved how those kind of illustrative stories were being told. I thought that was a really nice bit in this episode. But there was a couple of actual interesting points there. Remember I talked about Jodie's little bit of compassion for Tulip. I'm wondering if the Saint is doing the same thing. Because when Tulip tries to escape and wasn't working, the emergency exit, why did the Saint get up and go and talk with Sydney, with Azrael, the angel of death? Because by doing so, he seemed to have revealed that other access hatch. I mean, not an emergency escape. Access hatch can't really drop through that because the axle and everything is moving underneath it. But and he kept looking up in the mirror, so it seemed to me that the Saint was kind of giving Tulip almost a way out, like not really agreeing with it. And the story when he does ask Sydney about it, and Sydney goes on and talks about there are no rules anymore. Yeah, she's not dead. There are no rules before. Even the kid's not dead. So suddenly the Saint is being informed that Tulip isn't dead, so why is she going to hell? And Eugene isn't dead. So why is he being dragged back to hell? Why was he in hell for the first place? So I think the Saint might be, I don't know, rebelling a little bit on hell, giving some options. I mean, certainly it was odd when Sydney made the little comment about the Saint's family. It was there are no rules anymore. Not that the old rules served your family. I mean, that's kind of an unnecessary dig, though. Not that servants of Satan are kind and generous people. But because he did the flashback scene, to me that actually wondered the question of, was the Saint's family's death natural? Was that just a result of him staying and the sickness and everything going on and the crows coming in? Or was it maybe hastened by hell servants in order to get the Saint over on their side? I'm not sure. It just there was a little bit of implying going on right there. But definitely I think the Saint feeling a bit for Tulip, which means when Tulip goes to build a bomb, which was awesome, and suckers the Saint back to hit her, did the Saint know? Was he, without Tulip's knowledge, working with Tulip to try and give her an escape option? I don't know, again, I can't say for sure, but there was a lot of that, just the whole reactions and back and what the Saint was seeing and reacting to. There was a lot more. He seemed to be kind of on her side in some small matter, or at least against hell a little bit. And I think finding out that the rules aren't here and that people that aren't dead are being sent to hell doesn't sit well with him. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. Assuming they can all recover well from the tank hit. Nazi tank taking out the bus to hell. Was not expecting that. I mean, I was kind of wondering when Hitler was talking about Rick. Where is Rick? Coming to help, gave directions and everything. When they were in the fog, I'm like, there seemed to be, I thought they were like in between worlds, between our world and hell, and that's what the whole foggy thing, but I don't know, maybe it was just I-23 or something, and there was fog in the air. So, yeah, I was really wondering when Hitler's talking about his buddy coming to save him, if that's actually going to work. And yet it does, apparently. Hitler knew exactly what points that it was going to go against. So, yeah, anyway, it was... I'm a little curious how that whole rescue scene happened out. Loved Hitler jumping in front and kicking out the window and ready to go just before the tank hit goes. Yes, and look, when the bus flips and everybody's going different directions, that's all wrong. They should all be going in the same direction. They should be doing this and this and this. Funny and hilarious looking. But yeah, that was a little bit odd. So yeah, so that's going to end up with the bus taken out, some Nazis looking in the window, a tank right outside. This looks like a great escape attempt for Tulip and Eugene. And Hitler, though we don't necessarily want him to escape. But I am curious, is the Saint going to kind of allow it? Is he going to go after, or is he going to maybe try and stop Sydney, our angel of death? Really curious how that's going to happen. Now, Cassidy, of course, is going to be in some need of escape himself by the end of this episode. Starting things off with confronting Icarius about all the murdering that he's doing. And again, another little great scene. I mean, this is, again, Cass very committed, very clear on what's going on, very much against the whole murder thing. That's one of the things he doesn't like about being a vampire, isn't into all this. And really, that confrontation with Icarius, I thought it was great. And Icarius trying to push it off. Oh no, but these guys are lost first, and I'm just trying to do this. And I love, Cass's line back to him. Listen to yourself. You're mad. You're killing people and telling them that you're helping them by killing them. That's bad. And even that doesn't seem. Icarius can't deny that reality of it. So I do appreciate that kind of charade little thing didn't last too long. That Icarius just sort of admits, yes, I do it this way. It's a great rush, like the drugs that Cass is going after. This is just Icarius's drug. It feels great. It's wonderful. I want you to be with me. This is what I've always wanted. And really kind of hitting home right there. This is what you've always wanted, someone to accept you with all of your flaws. Just accept me with mine. Seems like a reasonable offer. Again, except with all the murdering, and especially Lisa. I mean, yes, maybe been able to push off some of the other ones, maybe not necessarily like it, sorry, forgive him for it, but certainly with Lisa dying, who trusted Cass, this isn't really going to fly. So, and unfortunately, he is not strong enough to go after Icarius. I mean, Icarius is. That's his whole thing. He can move fast. He can fly. He can do all of these things because all of this consumption of blood, all of this powering him. And Cass, really, I mean, he can't stand up to that. He is completely outmatched. And I was kind of curious how Icarius was things. We're not just going to kill you. It's going to be much worse than that. Exposure? Certainly being crucified on a pool table, getting ready to be burnt by the sun, that's not a good thing at all. That's probably worse, I would say. I did love Cass coming out trying to warn the children of the blood, enfants de sang, about Icarius. But Icarius, again, he's the one in charge. He has had time to weave whatever tale that he wanted, and this was Cass killed Hoover. He's mad, he's insane, he's going to fight against all of us. We gave him the opportunity, we opened up our home so he could come in, and he's just going to fight off. So, I love that Cass really, again, putting out that effort to try and warn these people. He's trying to kill you, he's going to kill all of you. We should run, we should go, we should do this now. No. So in the end, and not even Grandma there. That was the best one. The end where she's cleaning up and gets a little energy drink. It's just like, but you had to betray them, so you're just gonna die now. That's so mean, Grandma. Kevin's grandma not being very nice here. And yet could be the salvation. Okay, look, I forgot to mention the sun bit. That was awesome. When he's all pulled up, he's staked, he's crucified, they pull him up on a pool table. Not an easy thing. Those things are heavy. And then Kevin goes and opens up the blinds, and the sun's way over there. Just gonna slowly lit it right up. Give Cass time. But see, this is the mistake that every Bond villain makes. all right, we're just gonna link you up here and we're all gonna leave and just wait for you to die. Is that the mistake every Bond villain makes? But that's exactly what Icarius does. Gives Cass a chance. And yes, while Kevin's mom, it's his mom, not his grandma. I'm sorry, my mistake there. While Kevin's mom is certainly not going to let Cass out, Cass is smart enough to try and get her to call Lisa. She's in Portland. Just give her a call. Tell her I'm sorry. Which I think is perfect, because if we're going to trash this rightly, she's going to have to try and call. There's not going to be anyone there. I don't know what number she is calling, so they're going to say that Lisa was never here, or what's going on. I'm not curious how that's going to happen. But I think what Cass's basic plan is for Kevin's mom to find out that Lisa's not there, to tell everybody else, and then the rest of the enfants de sang will then rebel against Icarius, and that will give Cass the opportunity to leave. I think that's his plan. How that's going to all work out, I'm not entirely sure. But with one episode left, and Cass being Cass, I'm pretty sure something like this is going to work out for him. Now for Jesse, of course, it's looking like it's about the end for him. They've developed the Tom Brady. They have pulled out the actual Humperdew, and the AllFather is getting ready to just zap him and send Genesis up to Humperdew, and that's going to spell the end for Jesse. So what's Jesse to do? Turn on Star, and I love that he does it immediately. That's exactly how they open the episode, with the whole, one thing, I got a gun in my pocket. No, really, I got a gun in my pocket. How that was in there, and he was expected to pull it out, because you got a big gun, and then a giant silencer. I mean, the thing was that big. It looked like it took up his whole jacket. How did Star stick it in there? I don't know. And of course, the AllFather's response that Herr Star will know my buttocks like few other have. It's just, that's been Star's fear since the beginning. That's why he hasn't even turned on him. I think Star has this like PTSD fear of the AllFather squishing him under his butt. If I had seen that, I think that I would be permanently scarred on that also. So I'm not faulting him on this at all. But let's face it. I mean, almost every episode of Preacher starts off with a pretty serious badass scene. A fight, a moment, an action. I mean, everything really establishes each episode just beautifully. Gets the theme, gets the momentum going straight off. And of course, this was no different. But because of everything that was covered on it, especially that beautiful ending, it is our Scene of the Week for this week. That's right. The battle between Jesse and the AllFather was was awesome. I mean, I love him pulling out. Just let me be on my knees and let me pray to God just the way that I want to, just suckering the AllFather in perfectly, just so we could pull that thing off his neck, get it on the back of the AllFather, shock him, and start the whole battle. Beautiful fight. Really, I was surprised that Jesse wasn't squished himself. I mean, when they got him on the desk, that was one thing, all that weight, but maybe it's a little different when the desk broke under all of that. That was... Again, I thought that was the end. That extra weight of the AllFather coming down. Done. Was that the AllFather soup, or did his throw-up bucket get knocked over there? I think it was the latter. It was really gross. But just, again, perfect turnaround. Stabbing him with the Tom Brady, shocking him, and sending Genesis the AllFather so he gets that moment of experiencing the whole thing before... Kablamo! It was awesome. I was afraid for a moment that the Tom Brady would actually allow him to hold Genesis. But I think, again, why this worked was Humperdew is kind of a blank slate, so you can put a combination and that will add things. The AllFather's already pretty frickin' evil. So the Tom Brady is not going to balance any of that out. You just maybe need all of one good person. A full Serena Williams shot, maybe, and it would have been done. I don't know. It could have gone, but I love that scene. I thought it was perfectly done. And just, again, a perfect way to end the AllFather right there. I thought that was great. God, but Jesse's soul coming out of the remaining butthole of the AllFather. That was nasty. Okay? There's so much wrong with that. And then the big fight between him and Star. I was wondering why Star, though, was fighting Jesse for Jesse's soul. I mean, the whole thing coming into this was the promise of take out the AllFather and you'll get your soul. It's right there. And even when Star comes in, he's saying, oh, Messiah, this is great. You did a perfect thing. I mean, I guess the assumption is, from Star's standpoint, is that Jesse would most likely do exactly what Jesse did once he got the soul and tell Star to F off. And since Star doesn't have any other negotiating points there, he doesn't have Cass, he doesn't have any other tools in order to manipulate Jesse, that's probably why I was fighting, so he could get some sort of upper hand. But it just felt weird, considering that was like exactly the plan right there. Was, yeah, kill AllFather, you get your soul. You killed the AllFather, but you don't get your soul now. Actually, no, that sounds just like Star. We did get our little insight. We got the story of what the planning for the apocalypse was. When the signal comes, which is the soft shoe dance for Humperdoo, that's going to signal all of the world's armies to launch their nuclear bombs, and that's where it gets really crazy. And I think that's where Jesse's kind of, you're mad. Because the idea is you either accept the Humperdoo as the new Messiah, or you don't, and you die. Nuclear bombs don't tend to discriminate that way. They don't seem to pick and choose. They're not going to decide who has accepted the new Messiah and who are hippies, trade unionists, the Danes. That list that Star gave out, that was awesome. You can find out exactly the kind of people that really annoy Star. But yeah, that's not going to work. But how do you stop that? No, Jesse is not going to kill Humperdoo. Star's totally right. Jesse is not that kind of killer. I love that correction too. But his solution was brilliant. And to me, this is a perfect example of really brilliant writing, because it is a perfect solution that nobody would have suspected, that nobody would have guessed. Okay, maybe some of you did. I didn't. And I doubt that many of you did. But no. Change Humperdoo into the clone clothes and release them all. You're never going to figure out which one is the right Humperdoo. One, you're not going to be able to track them all down. And even if you did gather them all back up together, well, the ones that survive, since they are complete idiots, it's never going to work. I love that final shot as they're moving down the escalators. I mean, everything. That was a perfect runner-up for scene of the week right here. But it wasn't a perfect scene. It was just a wonderful solution. I loved all the shots of all the clones going down the elevators and leaving the Grail offices. And we get that great overhead shot. And we get one slams in a light pole, the other one trips and falls off the curb because he doesn't know how to step, and a third one gets hit by a car as he just wanders across the street. So, whether you're going to be able to find all of the Humperdoos, how many of them are alive, and of the alive ones, is one of them the Messiah, and how are you going to actually tell the difference between that and all the rest of the clones? Again, that was such a perfect solution. That solves the apocalypse. There cannot be any more signal. I guess unless the clones don't know how to soft shoe and only the Messiah does. That could be one small little potential change. But I think overall, I think that totally fixed. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Messiah was the one that was hit by the car. It's possible. But that's it for Jesse. Now that he is done, he is leaving our dickhead Star By the way, the title of the episode, Schwanzkopf, not referring to Norman S. Schwarzkopf, who was the general during Desert Storm back in '91. But no, Schwanzkopf is dickhead. It's perfect. I love that. Your head looks like a dick. So I've been told. It was just awesome. But anyway, so there we go. We got Jesse. He is fully armed with Genesis, and he is heading back to Angelville to finish off Grandma, who is completely expecting him to come because he did promise to kill her. That's not a good feeling, and we do have that whole deal with the devil thing. So that's going to end for a nice ending next week. Good to see how that plays out. Oh, and lastly, of course, we did have Hoover, again, not dead like the children do. He was released, returning to the Grail as Jesse leaves, and trying to inform Star that he's had a significant lifestyle change. He's now a vampire. So that change does seem to have happened, or at least Hoover seems to think that it has. The fact that the sun was streaming through the windows behind him and he didn't seem to respond off of that. Again, still not entirely sure. We'll really have to find out if Hoover actually did get turned or that was sort of fate in some manner. But we did get that final great shot because since Star's been ordered, no more hats. Let the dickhead shine. Again, parsing words here. Didn't say anything about wigs. And I really don't think those are going to work. None of those wigs look good, even with the mutton chops, like Featherstone said. That was all wrong. Though I still think we're going to see him in a wig next week. Can't wait for that. All right, I think that's going to wrap things up for us for this week. And like I said, next week, that's it. The big season finale. How's this all going to wrap up? Is Granny going to get her dues? Is Jesse going to stay out of hell? And is Tulip and Eugene going to finally escape the whole bus accident and get back into the real world? Hitler, I don't know what's going to happen with Hitler. We'll have to sort of wait and see that. Anyway, so that's going to wrap things up for us for this week. But before I go, I want to throw out a few shout-outs. Had some great comments, some really great back and forth discussions that we've had down in the comment section. So I want to take a moment and just throw out a nice little shout-out to some of our viewers. Foz, you're awesome, man. Spam, both of you guys have been doing some amazing discussions. Really appreciate it. James C., CJ, Lightwish Light, a new viewer. I hope you do become a subscriber. V. Warren, pardon me if I destroy that name. I hope that I'm close. Raphael Tremblay, and of course, our dear old friend, Mr. Todd Shuttleworth. You're the man, and don't let your kid give you any crap about it. So, anyway, thanks to all of you. I will try and do a few more shout-outs next week with our final review of the season. So, that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you enjoyed this, you know what you can do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, and comments, please, down in the section below. How'd you think everything wrapped up here? Was this the perfect ending for the AllFather? Did you love Jesse's solution to avoid the apocalypse? And what do you think is going to happen with our big bus ride there? Is everyone going to get out? Is the Saint possibly going to help everybody, or Tulip at least, get out of there? Anyway, throw down your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe if you're not. Quick and easy, hit this button. You'll catch all of these things. Plus, I'll throw up a couple of our latest reviews right here. Oh, and a notice, going to be doing a countdown of all 20 MCU films. We're going to be ranking them. That's going to be this Friday at Enchantment of Eternity, 4 p.m. Pacific time, I think. I think that's how we have it all planned out. I will go ahead and send out tweets and stuff as soon as I get information, and I'll throw some info down in the description here as soon as I get it. So, that's it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.